Hi, my name is Vipul and I'm from Run Network, and today I'm going to be talking about Palo Alto Global Protect and leveraging the cloud for remote VPN access. The objectives of this video is to go over the traditional enterprise data center remote access VPN that sort of traditionally exists today, and potentially what people might be looking at doing is either upgrading or expanding their VPN capacity due to the issues surrounding COVID-19. And rather than potentially looking at that, or a way of around it is potentially leveraging the cloud for this. So we will look at that, and we won't take you into a deep dive. We'll keep it sort of high level because you can slice and dice. It just depends on the business requirements in terms of finding the right solution that sort of fits a business, because there's no one size fits all, but more to the fact we just want to open up and provoke the thought of potentially leveraging and seeing the advantages of using the cloud to extend your VPN capacity. So this is your traditional data center VPN architecture that we see at this day and age. That still exists and is valid. You have data center 1, data center 2, either active or active standby. You have two VPN termination endpoints at either site, and your remote workforce this day, well, predominantly due to COVID-19, they're probably going to be at home, but prior to that or moving forward, they potentially still be moving around. So they're going to be some of the places they can be working out of are places like hotels, coffee shops, Wi-Fi dongle on the road, or a shared office space as well. And dependent on your business need and requirements, they'll either be full tunneling, sending all the traffic down to the data center, or either in split tunneling mode, sending the internal traffic to the data center and the internet traffic unsecured out to the internet. So some of the design considerations when you're looking at expanding the capacity or extending your capacity when you're putting in some new hardware or either replacing the hardware, you've got to think about data center space, rack space, switch capacity, bandwidth, internal, external. These are some of the considerations that you need to factor in. Also growth, you've got to factor in future growth. Think about future growth in terms of the hardware, whether it's being expanded or being replaced. Will it be able to cope with demand in 3, 4, 5 years time? And you're either going to be upgrading or adding additional capacity, so additional hardware. You've also got to think about high availability. Obviously, that's changed from your current architecture. The concurrent connection ratio is got to be taken into consideration again. If the devices fail at one of your data center, is your secondary data center able to handle the bandwidth, the concurrent connections? They've also sort of got to be considered. And then potentially that's a decision also impacts whether you're going to full tunnel or split tunnel to offload the internet traffic. Also, you've got to think about hardware maintenance for additional hardware, if there is going to be additional hardware, and also factor in the capex and opex costs moving forward. So this is the cloud VPN architecture. Not too much change on the data center side. You still get your DC1 and 2 and your VPN endpoints at each location. This time, what we have done is added in AWS availability zone 1 and 2 for high availability. And instead of your user terminating their VPN in the data center, they're now terminating it within the cloud. And we've just got two site-to-site IPsec tunnels back to each data center to provide HA. The user now, like I said before, he terminates his VPN connection within the cloud. And again, that depends on also what you're doing with your tunneling, if it's split tunneling and full tunneling. Whether if it's split tunneling, traffic goes unsecured directly to the internet. If it's full tunneling, traffic goes through your cloud infrastructure and then out to the internet. And the internal traffic goes through your cloud infrastructure and then back to your data center. So some of the design considerations that were cropping up that we were looking at for on-prem, if we're expanding, upgrading, adding more capacity to the on-prem site, physical capacity in terms of switching, rack space, power, internal bandwidth, external bandwidth. These were some of the things that we've got to take into consideration because the demand is growing. And probably one thing we don't potentially need to worry about it now to some degree because it's available on demand within the cloud. And we'll talk about a little bit with the amount of traffic and offloading where the cloud can leverage this. Again, growth, you don't need to worry about this within the cloud to an extent because it's all available on demand. And as traffic increases or your user base increases, you can scale your infrastructure within the cloud. And as that decreases on demand, again, you can start descaling the infrastructure within the cloud and reduce your costs. High availability. One of the things I was talking about previously was concurrent connections. If one of your firewalls dies, is the secondary site able to cope with the load for internet traffic and the users? Have you factored that in? You've got to consider growth as well, potentially within the cloud. You can design it around your business needs and requirements. It could either go multi-cloud, multi-region. You don't have to worry about some of those things potentially within the cloud. Again, that's available on demand. Full tunneling. There's another video I'll do for endpoint protection, but again, that's another thing potentially you don't need to worry about. Again, depending on your business needs and requirements, if you want to secure your internet traffic and not worry about having to send internet traffic from the user unsecured, you can offload the internet traffic within the cloud and secure the internet traffic through the cloud and send your data center traffic back. So you're not utilizing your internet bandwidth at your data center. And hardware maintenance again. So there's another thing you don't need to worry about here. There aren't any costs for hardware that you potentially need to worry about here because again, it's all within the cloud. The costs with this obviously are going to be flexible. So, as the demand increases and decreases, then there aren't fixed costs. Again, I've not done OPEX, CAPEX costs comparative to the on-prem, but as you can see, they are going to increase and decrease based on the demand. Well, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it's been useful. Leave some comments, and I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.